Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. Today we are in hell. I know, what a treat. I really wanted to go back and do a devil look. I have done one of these on my channel before, which I really hate. So I decided to go all out. I've done a bald cap, which I made myself, and some horns, which I also made myself. But apart from that, this makeup look was completely improvised, and it's kind of scary when you do that because you don't know if it's going to turn out good or if it's going to turn out bad, but I think I'm happy with how it turned out. I look like I am from hell, so that's good. So if you want to know how to transform yourself into the devil like me, then keep on watching. I hope you're going to enjoy it, guys. Okay, so to begin, I have just applied a plain latex bald cap. There are hundreds of tutorials on YouTube that show you how to do this already if you're unsure how to do it. So now that I'm bald and I look like a boiled egg, I'm going to be taking some prosthetic elf ears. Now to apply these, I'm going to be using liquid latex on a cotton tip to go around the edges, and then I'm just going to be placing them onto my ear, holding them in place for a few seconds before going in with some more liquid latex to go over any edges and seams. I then repeated the process on the other ear too. Beautiful. Moving on to the horns, I made these from tin foil, flour tape and paints. I will leave info in the description on how I made them. They're super easy to make, believe it or not. And I made 2 big ones and 2 small ones. I roughly marked out where I wanted them to be placed on my head, and then I used a tiny drop of super glue onto the base of the horns, and I stuck them onto the latex bald cap. Spirit gum and latex won't work, but super glue seemed to work fine and it didn't affect the latex. Once they were all stuck down in place, it was then time to move on to painting myself red. So I used 2 different types of paint. For the bald cap and my face, I used a red cream from my Flash palette with a beauty blender, and for the rest of my body later on I used a water activated paint. Now I did this because water activated paints won't sit very well on top of latex and will go streaky, and I totally could have used a cream to do everything including my body, but it takes a lot less time to remove water activated paints than it does to remove cream based makeup. That was a mouthful, wasn't it? I went ahead and I applied the red base all over my face, head, ears and all around the horns. It's easier to use a brush on the ears and the horn areas because the beauty blender sponge won't be able to get right up into the edges. To begin adding some definition to the face, I started with a yellow cream from my Flash palette and I applied the colour to the high points of my face and where I wanted highlight. So down the nose, the cupid's bow, brow bones, cheekbones and a few other places as well, and I made sure to blend it all out. And let's not forget those ears, and if you want the colour to be more intense, then just repeat the process. Time for some shading, and I'm using a black eyeshadow from one of my Urban Decay Vice palettes on a stippling brush. I'm just going in and hollowing out my cheeks on both sides because I wanted to look quite gaunt, and I also went in to the temples. Now we're going for a burnt singed look because after all, we spend all day in the depths of hell and it gets super hot down there. I'm also shading up the sides of my nose up to my eyebrows, and also I'm then going around my nostrils, cupid's bow and a little bit more definition to the tip of my nose. Now I wanted an evil expression, so I decided to give a little bit more character by making my brows look like they're frowning with the black eyeshadow and adding a few crease marks here and there. I then decided to add a little bit more highlight in a couple of places that I thought it was missing. Time for the eyes. Now I'm using the same shade of black eyeshadow and I'm just covering my entire eyelids and then roughly smoking them out. You do not have to be neat. Next, I'm taking one of my texture stencils and I'm going in with a gold type eyeshadow, which I later decided I didn't really need to do as I wanted to stick with using black. This part was completely random. I then decided to go in with some black around my neck too. Now something was missing, so I scrunched up my lips and went over them with the black eyeshadow, so when I relaxed them, the red still shows through the cracks. It's quite an effective way to get dry looking lips. I then decided to line under my eyes with black eyeshadow before going onto my waterline with a black eyeliner pencil. I also gave my chin a different shape and a bit more definition by shading an upside down V shape in the center. After giving my eyes some beautiful dark bags, it was then time to go wild with the stencil again, and I'm just using a small beauty blender with a mixture of black eyeshadow and black cream makeup to go over it. The top of my head needed more texture as it was looking too flat. I quickly painted the rest of my torso and my shoulders in red water activated paints and then went in with the stencil in random places to give a demon-like skin texture. And I did this until I was happy with how it looked. I then decided to go back in with the black cream makeup around the horns with a small brush, and I blended it outwards because it just didn't look right without doing this. Lastly, I needed to make my teeth look a little bit more Satan-like, as I doubt he or she would have beautiful perfect ones, and I also highly doubt that hell has a dentist. So I took my black tooth enamel after drying off my teeth and I made them look sharp and broken. Don't worry about using this type of product, it can seem a little bit daunting painting on teeth, but this stuff comes off really easily after you've brushed your teeth. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I transformed myself into the devil. This was actually perhaps my most ambitious makeup look yet, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a quick like, and if you're brand new here, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Be sure to check out my previous tutorials, and thank you for watching. I will see you in hell.